Rain fell in thin silver lines through the narrow alley as the city rushed past, unaware of the life slipping away beside a brick wall. The old man lay slumped on the cold ground, his breath shallow, his suit soaked and stained. Only hours earlier, he had been a powerful figure, chauffeur-driven cars, polished shoes, and quiet authority. Now, alone and unnoticed, his chest tightened with every breath. A small figure stopped in front of him. The girl couldn't have been more than 7. Her clothes were torn at the seams, her shoes 2 sizes too big, held together by string. Dirt smudged her cheeks, but her eyes were bright, too bright for a child who slept under bridges and begged for scraps. She clutched a piece of bread, hard at the edges, clearly meant to be her dinner. She knelt beside the old man, unfazed by the rain soaking her thin shirt. "Mister," she whispered, touching his sleeve. "Can you hear me?" His eyes fluttered open, unfocused. Pain etched deep lines into his face. He tried to speak, but only a weak sound escaped. The girl looked around. People hurried past the alley entrance, umbrellas up, phones glowing, lives intact. No one noticed. She pressed the bread gently into his trembling hand. "Eat," she said softly. "You need strength." He shook his head faintly. His hand fell to his chest. Fear flashed across her face, but she didn't run. Instead, she remembered something an old woman at the shelter once told her. If someone clutches their chest, get help fast. The girl stood and ran. At the mouth of the alley, a man in a tailored blue suit was striding toward his car, phone to his ear. His voice was sharp, impatient. "No, cancel the meeting. I'll call you back." The girl grabbed his sleeve with both hands. "Please," she cried. "My grandpa, he's dying." The man recoiled instinctively, irritation flashing across his face. Then he saw her eyes, wide, desperate, fearless. "Where?" he asked. She pulled him into the alley. The moment he saw the man on the ground, the phone slipped from his hand and shattered on the wet pavement. "Father." He dropped to his knees, suit forgotten, rain soaking into expensive fabric. His father's face was gray, lips tinged blue. Panic surged through him. He called emergency services with shaking hands, shouting directions, begging them to hurry. While they waited, the girl held the old man's hand, whispering encouragement, telling him stories, about the stray cat she fed, about the stars she liked to count when she couldn't sleep. Her voice was steady, brave. The old man squeezed her fingers weakly. Sirens cut through the rain. Paramedics worked fast, oxygen, defibrillator, commands shouted over the storm. The billionaire stood back, heart pounding, watching the girl refuse to let go until they gently moved her aside. At the hospital, time stretched unbearably. The billionaire paced the corridor, replaying the image again and again, his father alone, helpless, saved by a child with nothing. Hours later, a doctor emerged. "He's stable," she said. If help had arrived any later. The man closed his eyes, overwhelmed. He turned to thank the girl. She was gone. No one had noticed when she slipped away, back into the rain, back to hunger and cold. But the billionaire didn't forget her. The next morning, he returned to the alley with security, social workers, and supplies. They searched shelters, soup kitchens, abandoned buildings. Days passed, weeks. Finally, under a highway bridge, they found her, sharing her last apple with a younger boy. She stiffened when she saw the suited men, fear replacing curiosity. The billionaire stepped forward alone and knelt to her level. "You saved my father's life," he said gently. "I've been looking for you." She frowned. "Is he okay?" "He is. Because of you." She nodded, as if that was all that mattered. What he did next made even hardened social workers wipe their eyes. He didn't just offer money. He offered a home, education, medical care, a future. He ensured the boy beside her was included too, and every child she cared for. The girl moved into a warm room with clean sheets. She learned to read properly, to paint, to dream. She visited the old man every Sunday, bringing him bread she baked herself. Years later, when she stood on a stage accepting a scholarship in medicine, the billionaire watched from the front row, tears streaming freely. His father squeezed his hand. "Kindness," the old man whispered, "is the greatest inheritance." And it all began in a dark alley, with a homeless girl who chose compassion over fear, and saved a life that changed many more forever.